I'm gonna go with Shaylian here. I do think he is just better than Costa at this point. I really do. He's very young as well for the amount of experience he's got. Uh, we've seen Costa get sort of destroyed a few times. And I think we've seen that Shalian at the very least is UFC level. Like, he did beat Derek Minner in a weird fight where, James Cross probably lost his freedom because of it. But, he beat TJ Brown, Sean Soriano. Not like the greatest guys, but, he is shown that he is good enough that he can go on streaks. And even, being competitive with Steve Garcia, I like that. He almost did win that fight. And he has been out for a bit. He's let himself rest after that fight. He's gonna come back. He's gonna be refreshed. I think is the best way to put it. So I'm gonna go with Nuradabayek getting this one done. I'm gonna go by decision. I think he can. He's sort of gonna just big brother Costa a little bit here, but I don't think he'll finish him. But maybe he does have power in his shots, but I think Costa is probably gonna be trying to survive more in this fight since that Steve Garcia fight. Then we have Julia Polisteri versus Josephine Knudsen. I'm gonna go with Knudsen here. I think Knudsen is very good. I think she's a very good women's fighter. She's got really good wins as well. Like looking at the ones she beat, you know, she beat Jacinta Austin. Jacinta Austin is a very good women's fighter. Like she is generally very good. Uh, and that was a close fight. It was a split decision, but Knudsen is very good. She's clearly a very talented fighter. Her finishing instinct at times not the greatest. She is a bit of a decision merchant, but you do see that with a lot of women's mixed martial artists. But I do think she is just better. She has shown in fights that she is just better, and I think she will beat Julia Palestri here. I think it'll be a bit of a masterclass performance. I think Knudsen can beat her up on the feet here. So I'm going to go with Knudsen to get this one done, and I'm going to go with another decision. Then moving up, we have Jekka Saragi versus Weston Wilson. It is so clear what the UFC are trying to do here, right? Like, it's pretty obvious to anyone in the know. If you don't know, Indonesia, however you want to pronounce it, is the fourth largest, population in the world, I believe. Like, people don't realize there's over 200 million people that live in Indonesia. Not many people realize that, but Indonesia's got a massive population and they've got a big market, obviously. Jekka Saragi is the only fighter from Indonesia, the first fighter and only fighter from Indonesia in the UFC. So they're going to try and push this guy. Weston Wilson's a big step down from his last opponent. Lucas Alexander is actually a good fighter. This is a big step down for him. Even though he beat Lucas Alexander, they're giving him a step down. I like that for him. I think he is going to win this fight. I do think Jekka Saragi's a much better fighter than Weston Wilson. He's powerful. Weston Wilson is he's just not UFC level. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's not UFC level. You look at the guys he's actually beat outside the UFC. He beat an 8-5 guy, 4-3, 9-20. That was his win streak started with a 9-20 guy. He lost to Aruto Ishihara, who was like the worst rated guy in UFC 3. Like that's all people know Ishihara for. Like no disrespect to Ishihara, but he's not like a great fighter. He's 13-12 now. Like he was literally on a massive losing streak when he got cut by the UFC, and then he beat Weston Wilson. Oh, he beat Jose Hernandez before that, but still, like, he chinned him. He knocked him the fuck out. Even when he's like, it's just not a good look to get chinned by Ishihara, especially at that time in his life. I think you know it's just not a good look for Weston Wilson. I guess he is actually older. I was gonna say Ishihara is like old man, but he's actually not that old. Surprisingly, Weston Wilson's older, but like, just look at Weston Wilson's record. Like, he hasn't beat anybody good, like, at all. And I know you can say, like, who's Saragi beat, but like 7-2, 16-7, 2-0. Like, these are guys better than the guys Weston Wilson 4-0, 4-1, 2-1, 3-1, like 11-5, 1-0. This is a much better level of competition than Weston Wilson. Like, that is how bad it is. Like, Weston Wilson has the most padded record in the UFC. Like, I'm not disrespecting. I'm sure he's a nice guy. He trains with Wonder Boy, but he's just not UFC level at all. Uh, like, that much is clear. Like, just look at his record, man. It's horrible to look at, and he lost to a guy called Charles Cheeks. Like that is pretty much the that's the best way you can describe his record. It's cheeks. Like it is just shit. He hasn't beat anyone good. He is shitty. He's been knocked out his last two fights, and obviously got knocked out by Ishihara back in the day. I think I think Weston. Jesus, what did I say? Weston Wilson. Like that sound like Stewie Griffin. I think Jakasaragi is actually very similar to Ishihara in a way. They sort of punch the same way, but I do think Saragi's probably a bit better than Ishihara. And I just think Saragi's gonna knock Weston Wilson out. But anyway, I've given too much thought into this matchup. Then we have Carly Judas versus uh, Gabriela Fernandez. I'm actually gonna take Carly Judas here. I do think she's gonna win this fight. She's got that dog in her. Like that's the best way I can describe it. She got a contract coming off a loss, but she's got that dog. She's a very aggressive fighter. Maybe this is more just me wanting her to win, but I'm gonna go with her to knock out Fernandez because fuck it, she's a fun fighter. We need more fun women's fighters. Then we have Garrett Armfield versus Brady Highstand. Now, this is a really difficult fight to predict, in my opinion. Because neither of them have beat like the greatest level of competition, but Brad Katona, I do rate that win more than Batagarel Dayan and Fernie Garcia. But Highstand did have a very close fight with Tercios, and he is very young. Like he's 25. Armfield is, I think he might be a young guy too. He's 27. Okay, this is a really difficult fight to predict, honestly. I'm going to go Brady Highstand here. I'm not super confident on this pick, but I do think his wrestling could be a big factor here. Garrett Armfield's not a bad fighter, though. He's generally very underrated. But I do just think Brady Highstand's grappling is going to be the big telling factor here. So yeah, I'm going to go Brady Highstand to get this one done. And then we have Nate Maness versus Jimmy Flick. I'm going to go Nate Maness here. He's got that dog in him. Jimmy Flick's good, but you know he's not very well rounded. Like he did beat Malcolm Gordon, but like Malcolm Gordon is sort of chinny, and he did choke him out, but like you know Malcolm Gordon's very finishable. Let's just say. Well, Nate Maness, like I say, he's got that dog in him. He's gritty. He's going to be the bigger man for sure in this fight. I feel like you know former lightweight now fighting at flyweight. Jimmy Flick has been shown to be chinnable as well. I think Nate Maness is going to get this one done, man. By second round TKO, I got Nate Maness sort of breaking Flick a little bit here. Maybe Flick can't get his takedowns. Maybe he's going to try and jump guard a few times, but I think Maness will eventually just start getting his shots going. Then we have Tagir Ulanbekov versus Joshua Van. Interesting fight. Like this is generally a really hard fight to predict, in my opinion, because Tagir Ulanbekov is a very underrated fighter. Like he did just beat Cody Durden. I rate that win against Durden. He beat Maness as well, who I think is pretty decent as well. And he arguably could have beat Tim Elliott in a very close fight. Where Tim Elliott did cheat, although you can argue that Nascimento beat him. But yeah, this is generally an interesting fight. Very interesting fight. But that being said, I am going to take Joshua Van. I don't know too much about his takedown defense, so maybe this is going to be a bad prediction on my end. But the fact is, Tagir is very tall. Actually, he's not even that tall, actually. He is tall compared to Van, though. I think because he's so tall, and the way he does stand up, he stands up very upright. I feel like that's going to help Joshua Van get his body shots off. Joshua Van's a very good boxer. I can just see, because Tagir does fight very tall, has his hands up very high, I can just see Joshua Van dropping him to a shot to the solar plexus. So I'm going to take Joshua Van to get this one done, but I don't think it's going to be an easy fight. I feel like we learned quite a lot about him here, but I do think he will get this one done. Joshua Van's got that dog in him, and I think he will eventually be able to finish Tagir Ulanbekov. Then we have Adam Fugit. Oh, fuck, I did it again. Adam Fugit. Fugit. I'm just going to call him Fugit. Fuck it. We got Adam Fugit versus Joshua Quinlan. I'm going to take Joshua Quinlan here. I just think his power is probably going to be the deciding factor here. Fujit's underrated. He's not as bad as people make him out to be. Like, he did beat Kineshito and Solomon Renfrew. Like, that, he's not got bad wins, but like he does have some pretty bad losses, like KO loss to Colin Hill, who's now 4-2. He got knocked out by Michael Morales. Did get dropped in that Mike Malott fight as well. His chin is a bit worrying because he's taking so much damage. So I'm going to take Quinlan. I know he didn't look that good against Danny Barlow, but who knows? Maybe Danny Barlow's like the next big thing. He also didn't look good against Trey Waters either, actually, to be fair. But I do just think Quinlan's power, I think he can get a finish here over Adam Fugit. If he loses, I guess he really was just like fucking roided up and it wasn't like a contamination. Then, like, honestly, that could just be it. Maybe the roids really did just change him. But, because, he does have a knockout, but like Jason Witt generally has the worst chin on earth. Generally the worst chin at welterweight at the very least. Like, Bilal Muhammad would probably knock him out with a jab. But I do think Quinlan will get this one done. Just looking at it, I think his power is going to be enough to be able to catch Adam Fugit at some point in the fight. Then we have Azu Alamabayev versus Jose Johnson making the move down to flyweight. I was trying to remember which flyweight guy this was because obviously there was two Kazakh flyweights, but Azu Alamabayev is the better one, and I think he is going to be Jose Johnson. Jose Johnson going down to flyweight is fucking insane. I know he's fought there before, but you are 6 foot tall as a flyweight. You're going to fucking be very malnourished. Like, Alamabayev's going to be much stronger than him here. I think he'd even fucking chin him, to be honest. I don't think he's like the craziest striker, but it would not surprise me if you fucking caught him at this point. Like, I don't know. I don't like the move down to flyweight for Jose Johnson. Just because you can make a weight class doesn't mean you should move down to said weight class, but he's gonna fucking do it anyway. I think Alamabayev is gonna get this one done though. He's not a bad fighter. He's very good. I'm gonna go by the submission as well. I think he's gonna get a submission here. Then we have Miles Johns versus Douglas Silva de Andrade. I'm gonna go with Silva de Andrade here. I think he is I wouldn't say much better than Miles Johns, but he does have the style to give him a lot of problems. He is very underrated. Arguably beat Said Nurmagomedov. He had a competitive fight with Lerone Murphy. Lost to Peter Yan and Rob Font. Like, these are not bad guys. Even Zabura Tukunov, upper weight class. Like, this guy is one of the most underrated fucking guys on the roster, in my opinion. Like, he went 21-0 at one point. Like, maybe not against the greatest guys. All these guys don't seem to have records, but still, like, he's an underrated guy. He's fucking powerful as fuck. He's very powerful. He's got good jitsu. He's coming off a good win over Cody Stamen as well, who did just lose last weekend, but still. Like, I don't know, looking at this fight, man, Miles Johns lost to John Castaneda, which is a pretty bad loss. He did get chinned by Mario Batista, but that was a flying knee. He's got some good wins. He is a good fighter, but I do just think De Andrade will catch him in this fight. Then we have Lucas Almeida versus Timmy Kumuba. I think that's how you say it. I'll probably just butcher it. I'm going to go with... Man, can I even trust Almeida at this point? Almeida's been fucking looking pretty shitty lately, to be honest. But Kayomba, he's not really the greatest guy at all. I thought he lost on Dana White Contender Series. I thought Vogel beat him. I'll go Lucas Almeida. I'm not super confident on this pick, but I do think Lucas Almeida is very good. At times, he did get chinned, but Andre Philly does just punch really fucking hard. Pat Sabatini lost. That loss is really bad because Sabatini pretty much fucking Habibbed him. Or not even Habibbed him, like Hamza Chimaev versus like Reese McKeedem. It was pretty bad, but besides that, did knock out Michael Trezano, which is a pretty good win, to knock him out. Had a crazy back and forth fight with Zelhuba. I'm gonna say Almeida gets a TKO here. I'm not super confident on it, but I'm gonna take him here. Then we have Ikram Alaskirov versus Mackenzie Dern's boyfriend slash husband, whatever he is, Antonio Tricoli. This is the guy that Bobby Green was talking about trying to jump him on using Mackenzie Dern's account. I'm just gonna start off with saying I don't rate Tricoli at all. Look at his record: 21-13, then 2-6. Like, he beat a 2-6 guy. Why the fuck was that fight even made? Uh, he was on Dana White Contender Series. It got overturned. Why was that? Okay, so Tricoli won, and then he fucking popped. He popped. He popped for PEDs. Okay, so I mean, that's one thing to factor in. He's probably not going to be on the roids anymore. He's had a lot of pullouts as well, but it is Tuesday as of this video. So I'd imagine he's probably going to fucking fight, but who knows? I probably jinxed it now. But he has had a lot of pullouts. He's a former welterweight as well. That's something to factor in. He has some light heavyweight fights as well, though he's gone all over the place, to be honest. But like his losses, Jacob Volkman, you know, remember that guy? I'm pretty sure that was the guy who called out Obama after his fight. He lost to Diego Lima, not even Douglas. He lost to the worst Lima brother, the worst one. And then he lost to Markelos Barboza, and then he hasn't beat anyone really of note since then. I think Ikram Aliskerov is much better than him. Ikram Aliskerov is very good. Very, very good fighter. Beat the shit out of Wally Alves. I mean, he was losing to Phil Hawes, but Phil Hawes at chin parity is the best fighter in the world. You could stuff the takedowns from Chimaev. I don't think... what is fucking Tricoli's, like, aim to winning this fight? Like, he's not going to sub. I don't think he's going to be able to sub Ikram. His striking's not really that great. He's not really... I feel like Ikram's better than him everywhere. Ikram's got amazing takedown defense. I think he's going to knock out Tricoli. I really do think he's going to beat the shit out of Tricoli. Now, he does have a long reach on him, so maybe he can catch him with some weird shit, but I do think Ikram Aliskerov's going to beat the fuck out of him. That is my prediction. Ikram Aliskerov, I'm going to go second round TKO. I don't know what it is, just something about Tricoli. He does look like a fighter who would break. Maybe I'm just, like, reading a book wrong here. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but he just does look like someone I can see breaking. Even maybe getting subbed. Maybe Ikram takes him down, but I think Ikram can beat him on the feet, honestly. But I'm going to take Ikram Aliskerov to get this one done by TKO over Antonio Tricoli. Then we have Alex Perez versus Tatsuro Taira. Interesting fight. Alex Perez, underrated guy in my opinion. Underrated, but also at the same time, you know, he did lose to like Benavidez in like fucking 2018. Like, you know, that was past his prime Benavidez. But like, he is an underrated guy. He looked really good against Nicolau. He's finally active. I love to see it from him. You know, I do love the activity. Could have arguably won that Makayev fight as well. His takedown defense is good. I mean, Figueiredo didn't take him down. He guillotined him. And I do think Tatsuro Taira is overrated to an extent. I think he is a very good fighter, but I do think he is overrated. It's an interesting fight. I think Tatsuro Taira is better on the feet than Makayev. So maybe he's going to be able to get his striking going a lot better than, you know, Muhammad. Like, I think he's going to be able to get his takedowns going because he's got better strike than Makayev. Makayev doesn't set anything up with striking. He literally just shoots. That is what's going to get him KO'd eventually. I feel like he's going to run into a knee. But, you know, Alex Perez arguably could have won that fight on damage. But I do think I'm going to go with Tatsuro Taira here. I was honestly thinking of going with Perez, but the thing is, he is very subbable. Subbed by Pantoja, who is the champ. You know, subbed by Figueiredo, beat up on the ground by Benavidez, subbed by Jared Pabazian. You got prayer choked, I'm not quite sure what that is, by Adam Antolian. Got guillotined by Edgar Diaz. Like, I know these are losses ages and ages ago, but you got to look at this like he is very susceptible to being subbed. And I don't know. I just see Tatsuro Taira subbing him. I feel like Taira's gonna get rocked and dropped in this fight. He did get dropped against Edgar Chairez. Let's not forget that. I don't think his chin's as good as Peter. Like, I mean, nobody even really suggests he has a good chin, but I do think he is chinnable. His striking looked better, but it was against Carlos Hernandez, not like the greatest guy by any means. But I am going to take Taira in here, but I don't rate him as highly as some other people do. Uh, can he be champion? Of course, he's very young. He's only 24 years old. Uh, he's going to make improvements, but I don't know. I can sense Perez rocking him. I just don't know why. I just see him getting dropped and then having a comeback victory. But I am going to take Taira to get a submission here. Probably, let's go third round. I think Perez is going to make it a bit of a scrap, and then Taira is going to eventually sub him in this fight. But yeah, those are my predictions for UFC Fight Night Perez versus Taira. Let me know your predictions in the comment section below. Subscribe if you ain't already. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully, got an interview coming with a UFC lightweight, non-Australian for once. You know, I'm starting to branch out a little bit. Should have that soon. Just trying to figure out the time zones and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully we'll have that one soon. But anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.